Okay, so I'm going to start with you, beautiful woman.
Okay.
Tell me your first, middle, and last name.
Linda Lou Walker, Grossnickel Walker, whatever you want to say.
I love that. Great. And you, sir? First, middle, and last name.
Donald W. Walker. Wayne.
No, Wayne.
Good.
Donald Wayne.
When is your birthday?
January 18th, 1945.
Lovely. When is your birthday?
8/29/40.
Great. And how long have you two been married for?
In June was 57 or 58.
58.
Yeah.
Miss Linda, can you tell me what your favorite flower is?
Carnation.
Oh, any particular reason why?
They last the longest.
And you are a gardener.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to me a little bit about that? What do you like to garden?
What do we grow? We have tomatoes, banana peppers, sweet potatoes, mangoes,
and
cucumbers. I think that's about it this year.
Gosh. You don't know what you got planned.
Yeah, I do.
Can you manage to answer this? How did you meet her?
Well, yeah. I was actually going with another girl. And we were supposed to go to the drive-in that night. And she wasn't home. So I figured she was at Linda's. So when I went to Linda's house, she said she wasn't there, but I'll go with you. I said, okay.
Linda! Tell me more. So then what
You
happened?
don't want to hear more, do you?
Well, maybe not those details, but what
Well, this wasn't the first time this had happened with this girl. She was one of my best friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
And every time he couldn't find her, he'd think she was
Yeah.
with me, but she wasn't always with me.
Yeah. So then eventually, maybe over time.
So
Yeah.
eventually, over time, I just decided, well, hey, I might as well go and sit at home every weekend.
Sure. Heck yeah. I
Hard
love
enough.
that. And do you guys remember? Oh, I don't know if I'm asking too much now. Do you remember what the movie was?
Gosh, no.
That's okay.
Who was watching the movie?
So how did you ask Linda to marry you?
I don't even remember where we was at.
I knew he would know.
You?
Yeah.
At the drive-in?
No. No. You came up to school one morning of my
yeah.
sophomore
Yeah, she
year,
was still in school.
and we were sitting out there talking in the car, and all of a sudden you pulled this little box out of your pocket. Didn't say a word. He just says, "Here's our rings." And I said, "Oh, okay." So,
I love
Short
that.
on words and whatnot.
So what is it that has kept you together for 58 years? What's the secret to sustaining 58 years of marriage?
Probably, helping one another. She's helped me with the fire department, and she was a big part of that, and everything, and the kids, and just trying to survive.
Yeah.
I say telling him how you feel.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't always agree on everything. You got to speak up and say, "Hey, I don't like that way," or something.
Mm-hmm.
And argue it out, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there something you could or would have done? And if so, what is it? I served time in the service, and I've given just about my entire life to the village of Bland, and I don't know what else, public, if you add them up, it's about 92 years of public service.
That's incredible. Thank you for your service.
I think I would have liked to travel a little more than we got to, but when you have kids, it isn't that easy.
Sure.
She don't like, she won't fly.
Yeah. I understand. I'm not much of a flyer myself. If I can drive it, I drive it.
If I was supposed to fly, I'd have had wings.
All right.
How much did you spend on your first date? Not much back in the 50s.
As little as possible.
Yeah.
What has the most important lesson your parents taught you?
Ooh.
What was the most important lesson your parents
That's
taught
your
you?
question.
Yeah, you can answer this one first, Miss Linda.
My parents told me if you couldn't afford to pay for it, you didn't need it.
And that's a good lesson.
Well, my parents separated when I was about 9 or 10 and stayed with my grandparents, which the school was only about a mile away. And then Dad remarried and tried to move back home, but mother-in-law, her stepmother didn't get along. She had 3 kids of her own and everything was their way. And so I stayed with my grandparents most of the time. And actually I was the only one, I think, in that family that was able to finish school, which I'd done it on my own. I farmed and worked my way through school and everything.
Wow. Is there anything that you've seen in Don that reminds you of maybe your parents or his parents as you've watched him become a father?
I laugh at him and tell him he's like his dad because he can't remember the grandkids' names.
How many people has got this many kids you're talking about that lives within 4 miles of you? So, you know.
So, just so that we know, how many grandkids and kids are we talking here?
There's roughly 19 grandkids and 40-some great-grandkids with another one due this month.
I'm starting to blush now.
Well, now I'm going to ask you the same question. What does Linda do, or like, is there anything that you've seen in her as a mother that reminds you maybe of your grandparents or her mom?
Yeah, taking care of the kids. I mean, sports events, I couldn't be there on lots of things, and I was going quite a bit. Even I was on trouble call with the light and water department and the fire department. I was going a lot. And she went to all their events. I could go when I could, but she handled about everything at home.
That's awesome. That's a good team.
Yeah.
You guys are a good team.
Occupation was my house.
Lovely. Yeah. And talk to me about the fire department.
Fire department, I started there right at the end of '69 and started '70. And
As chief, you were on the department.
as chief,
before then.
I was only on like 6 years before I took the chief's job.
They dedicated the building to it.
Yeah.
It is now Walker Station.
Yeah.
How neat is that?
My walls plastered with certificates and from Congress, the village, county commissioners, huge certificates and plaques that they gave me.
That's incredible.
For Firefighter of the Year.
Yeah.
Firefighter of the Year. We're in good company.
How is it or was it to be a firefighter's wife? And it's exciting. We always had a scanner that ran all the time. It'd go off in the middle of the night. Even when they were little, it didn't wake them up. Dad would jump out of bed and leave, and I'd get up and go sit downstairs until he got home.
All 3 of us, 3 of the boys was firefighters too, so I was on.
Wow.
And as they got older, it got to be a joke because we'd have Christmas or something, and all of a sudden that thing would go off, and boop, out the door he'd go. And then, like he said, as they got older, the 3 boys all were cadets. And I'd be left sitting at home with the 2 girls because they'd all leave.
And what was that like for you, sitting at home while you know that not only your husband, but then, eventually
It's
your
a
sons?
scary feeling.
Yeah.
You wonder.
That boy I had and got away from me, 12-year-old boy, and Dave was 12 years old. At the same time, our boy was standing in the street in a pair of shorts. And he went back in because his parents and sister was upstairs, not knowing, but they had jumped out the upstairs window in the back and was laying in the backyard cut up with glass, and they all survived. But I had the boy in my hand, back in the rubber coats and gloves and the heat, and it was like a greased pig. He was slick, and he got away from me, and it's like fighting a drowning person. He's throwing furniture, he's trying to breathe, and I lost him. I had to get out, and that one bothered me quite a bit.
How do you move forward from that? How do you keep going to work, and how do you keep at it?
Nightmares for a while.
Yeah.
She got bruises on her probably.
And you just have to keep saying,
Yeah.
you've done all you could. If there was one thing you could change at all, what would it be?
That's your question.
Yeah, I know. What would I change? I don't know that I'd really want to change much of anything. We've always managed to have what we needed.
Anything that you would
Well-
change or do differently?
Probably ought to get some hair. Answer that question because I'm going to the bathroom.
Sure.
I drink too much coffee.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I'm on my way. Answer that other question too.
Linda, did you ever go to a concert? Well, yes, Linda did. And I got to go see Elvis in concert.
Oh my gosh, that must have been amazing.
Oh, it was. To leave all the kids at home with him and go out by myself. It was kind of nice.
That is awesome. Oh,
But I always thought he was super when I was in school and stuff. He always threw scarves, and these girls in the audience would throw underwear and bras at the stage, and you know, it just looks goofy, but it was fun.
did you throw your bra at Elvis?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Well, this is easy. Your first car together was a 1950 Chev,
Nice. All right.
and she wrecked it.
Do you always kiss each other goodnight?
That's your question.
No, we don't always kiss each other goodnight, but I tell him goodnight, I
Yeah.
love you.
She knows when I'm coming to bed.
Linda, what's your favorite thing about Don?
That he goes out of his way to try and help me. The fact that he likes to cook ever so often. And
Oh, on weekends especially, I cook our breakfast and
he
everything.
cooks breakfast every weekend.
And then usually on holidays, I cook pies for some of the kids.
Good. So Don, what are some things that you love about this woman next to you?
Her? Well, she
No,
takes care of
listen.
everything when I can't. I mean, like I said, she, you know, like she does all the banking, she does everything. Somebody calls and asks a question, I have to hand her the phone because I really can't answer. She handles it all.
Yeah.
I did it my way.
And what about for you, Linda?
I would probably tell them how grateful I was for all they did. That you don't think about when they're doing it for you, but you miss it when they're gone.